Coach Kelly, a year ago when you took this job, you had 38 scholarship players. When you go to practice, you have the name, the tape, the last name. Yeah. You really needed that in spring last year to figure out who those kids are. But this year, you got the scholarship numbers up, you built your culture. It's going to be a little easier this time around for spring football.
Yeah, I think each year there's a different challenge, right? So now that the expectations have really risen from a team last year where you mentioned the particulars, now it's the SEC West champs. So the different challenges will be about consistency and performance, and then upgrading all the things that we've done in year one. Now we have to, in year two, repeat that and be better at it. So different challenges, but pretty excited about it.
You came to the SEC to play the best.
Yeah.
Was there a game or a moment this past year where you're like, thank goodness I took this job, this is where I need to be? Was there some spot where you're like, this is fantastic?
Well, I think moving through the schedule, you could kind of sense it. You know, first of all, the Mississippi game was our first real, I would say, a big win, if you will. And then obviously going on the road against Florida and the environment at Florida and playing on the road against a team like that and that atmosphere, you got a sense of what the SEC was like. But the atmosphere against Alabama in what I would consider was 4 quarters of just you couldn't, take your eyes away from the action on the field. That's what the expectations were. And very rarely in life do we live the hype up, and this one did. It lived up to the hype, and that's what the SEC football is all about.
Sticking with Alabama, it was one of your biggest victories last season. It looks like if we go to non-conference games, they're going to be a permanent opponent.
Yeah.
How fired up for you? I know the fans are. How excited are you to see Nick Saban on the other sideline for years to come every single season?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what our fan base wants to see. Look, no disrespect to the other schools on our schedule, but they want to see the SEC schools every year. And with the new 9-game schedule, we're going to be able to see in a 4-year rotation every single school in our conference. And that's going to be great for our student athletes, that home and away, they're going to get that opportunity to play everybody. And for me, it's great, because that's why I came here, is to play the very best each and every week, and we'll get that opportunity.
To build a successful program, to keep it success, you have to have a great starting quarterback. Yeah. You have one in Jaden Daniels. What was your reaction when he said, Coach, I'm coming back for another season? Because he could have gone to the draft, but he stuck it out and he wants to be in the purple and gold again.
Yeah, we felt like we provided him with some really good information that would allow him to make the best decision. But you never know really what's going to happen. So we're certainly excited that decision was to come back, because he trusted his teaching. He trusted the fact that he could obviously reach a higher ceiling that he had already reached. And then we were happy because certainly we had built this around him. And, Garrett knowsmeyer obviously is another quarterback that will have an opportunity to continue to compete for a starting position. But when you've got a guy that has that experience, it lifts everybody up in the program. And so as we go into year two, the excitement of having a quarterback like Daniels coming back, I think brings energy to everybody.
He is a dynamic talent, but there's always things to work on. There's some things that you pinpointed with Jaden to get him to that next level of success? Absolutely.
I think if you look at his volume of work, it started slow in terms of picking things up and reads and protections. And then it got better, but we still have to be able to push the ball down the field. And I think that's what he's looking at as we go through this spring, is picking up those progressions that gets the ball down the field to some real elite playmakers that we have at the wide receiver position.
You lost Walker Howard in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
You have Garrett knowsmeyer. Is there a talk with the OC, Mike Denbrock, to make sure he gets his reps with first team, he gets some playing time in the fall? Is that something you always have to weigh, because your quarterback room only has 3 scholarship quarterbacks going into the spring?
Yeah, no doubt. I think you have to be cognizant of that today. These guys want this opportunity to be ready. So I think it's important that Garrett gets some chances to be with the first group, and we have to have an open mind. We don't have to have, people talk about open competition. To me, open competition is that you have an open mind with the quarterbacks that you have on your roster, and I think we do, but you can't just give somebody second team reps and say you have an open mind. So he's got to get some opportunities. We got to continue to develop Garrett, and if we do that, I think we put ourselves in the best position in the fall.
Matt House has a salivate looking at film of Harold Perkins. Can we see him any more places on the field there? Is he going to be out there every snap? Because I know the fans want to see it.
Yeah, we could have used him at some other positions, but no, I think the most important thing is to get him in a position where, really can teach the fundamentals, because moving around last year, as you know, we're putting him in different positions and we're scheming and we're not really working the fundamentals. We've got to give him an opportunity to really learn his craft as well. So I think you'll see us settle down this spring, get him in a position where he can really work on the fundamentals. But that doesn't mean he can't move from one position to the other after we get a solid spring in with the fundamentals. So I think you'll see him move around a little bit, but I think we're going to be very careful and really deliberate this spring in working on some of the things that he needs to work on.
One of your best defenders last year was Mason Smith. Unfortunately, he went out in the first series against Florida State. I know he's going to be in non-contact drills this spring. How excited are you to see him get back to 100%? Because what I saw at Terrebonne and what you've seen with him in purple and gold in the past there, he's just a fierce competitor and can terrorize an offense.
Yeah, what I like is his growth off the field, the maturity that we see, the way he's worked during this injury. You learn a lot about guys when they go through some adversity, and he's really taken this adversity and looked at it as an opportunity for me to really get better, change my body type, eat right, use nutrition. He is going to be a force. Now, look, we lost that inside pass rush presence. We had great edge pressure with Harold Perkins and B.J. Ojulari, but we really didn't have that inside guy. Now you're going to have a Mason Smith inside who's going to push things inside, and now you're going to have edge pressure. He's going to be a big difference maker, and I think he's going to make an impact in the SEC this fall.
You were really aggressive in the portal at the cornerback position.
Yeah.
Is that your just biggest question mark because you don't have any set starters and you got a lot of guys coming in? Is that one of the biggest question marks you got in the spring?
Yeah, again, we went through this last year, right? I mean, though we went with Jarek Bernard-Converse, who was a all-conference performer at Oklahoma State. We brought him in. We had Mekhi Garner, who we knew a little bit about at UL. I mean, he was a really solid performer. These were veteran guys. We're going with some younger guys out of the portal, so there is a little bit of uncertainty, but what we've seen early on we're really, really excited about, and they're going to be here for a couple, 3 years, and that's the really important thing. These guys will have a chance to develop in our program over the next 2-3 years, and we think that there's a high ceiling for them.
You went to the SEC championship game in Atlanta. You beat Alabama. Could we consider you the SEC West favorite going into 2023?
I think, there's so many really good football teams. I mean, I think everybody has a chance each year. We were last coming in, right? And so, we went from last to first. I think in the SEC West, each and every year, each team has that opportunity. You got to play well each and every week. I mean, that's the thing. It's the consistency in how you play in the SEC West week in and week out, because that's the battle that you're going to get. So I think the team that plays the most consistent is going to have that chance to get back to the SEC championship game.
This team also can contend for a college football playoff spot, possibly national championship. Is there things that you did at Notre Dame that you will carry on to LSU? How do you handle this year when the expectations of preseason top 10 are going to be out there?
Yeah, I think it's really for us now, it's about how we go to work every day. There's going to be a lot of noise. There's going to be higher expectations. There wasn't as much noise about this football team last year. And now you have to avoid the noise. You have to really focus on what your process is every single day. And if they do that, they're going to continue to get better. If they get better based upon what they've done last year to this year, they're going to be in every game and have a chance to win every game they play.
Thank you so much for your time, Coach Kelly.
My pleasure. Thank you.